Hey, what's up guys? Today's video is going to be a map guide. This is going to be less focused about a specific agent on this map, which is Ascent, as you can see. I usually go into map guides with a specific agent in mind, so this is going to be more through the lens of maybe a duelist or just maybe another role, but probably mostly duelist because that's just what I play, but I'll also try to give you just mostly just general tips for the map, because it's actually my favorite map, so I know mostly quite a lot about this map over other maps, but um, yeah, so let's get into it. So this is it's a pretty sick map, honestly. I think this is probably a lot of people's favorite map, but maybe not. But yeah, on the A site here, you can see on the map we have an interesting setup, but basically what I like to do, you have a lobby here where the attackers can come from, and so I guess we'll start with defense here. That's usually what I like to do. So it depends what role you're playing, of course, but as a duelist, it's sometimes good to peek here. You don't have to peek here, but what you can do is, they're going to be here. I can't remember exactly where the barrier is, but I think it's like here. It's behind the bike, so if you come like this, you can walk up like this. I like to sit right here, kind of like you can walk up. You can hear, if you hear them all, you might not want to do this because you're going to get traded, likely before you can kill more than like one or two, but you can do this, you can push, and you can just kind of get information by sitting here. This is one option. Of course, if you're playing a different character, like if you're playing a Sentinel, you can set up your Killjoy turret. Killjoy turret often goes up there. Nanoswarm can go like here, here, here. And Nanoswarm there is good because of the switch. People usually like to hit the switch. We'll talk about the switch more on attack, but the switch, there's one on B-side as well. It's for the door. That is this map's gimmick, if you will, or however you want to call it. But the door is a very powerful mechanic of the map, like surprisingly powerful for unsurprising reasons, because this blocks off this whole part of the map, which is kind of important because it connects here to CT, and this is a big way, and also from Cat, this is a big way that you can get help from your team whenever you're defending the site. So if they close this door and you're trapped on site, there's really nothing you can do but fight. So yeah. Also, they just recently added this box here, which cannot no longer be shot through. So that's kind of nice. You can see here more. But as far as like the spots you can sit when you're defending, if you're Jet, Omen, Raze, whoever else, Sage can go up there as well. You can go up here. That was a weird updraft. They changed the animation, huh? Interesting. Well, anyway, you can sit up here. This is a good spot. The only problem is you can get dogged or droned. Or even darted if you don't have another teammate here with you, which would be kind of awkward. But this is a good spot to play occasionally. Also, when you play up here, you have to watch from Cat. Or you have to watch Cat from here, because you don't have to watch it. You have to be aware of it, because they can come through here. And as you're watching this, they might come through and you'll die from Cat. So another spot you can play is, of course, right here. You can sit behind here and just kind of wait. You can even jiggle. You can sit back gen. You sit on the side of gen like this. Peek. It all depends really how your playstyle is, what role you're playing, and also on the specific situation of the round that you're in. So this is another spot. I also kind of like to play right here, especially on like pistol rounds. You can buy like a shorty, or you can even just sit there with a classic or a frenzy. Also, if you buy a ghost, you want to sit probably back farther. Also, you can sit up top here, high ground, in heaven. This is good if you have like a rifle or an op or a marshal, rather than sitting on site. Because if you sit here in hell, then you're kind of trapped. You can sit hell, but it's not really. It's probably the worst spot you can sit, in my opinion. It can be good for like cheesy rounds, like ninjas or whatever, or not ninjas, but like hiding and then getting kills as they get sight, like without them expecting it, because they don't clear it. But yeah. So other than that, we can move on to Cat here, defending Cat. Also, one more thing for A main. If you can manage to sneak here into Wine without them pushing A main, you probably want to walk here, but often what will happen is people like to start in mid or start at B, and then at the end of the round they'll rotate over to A, and then you're in a perfect position here, especially in lower ranks, right? Like even Diamond, Immortal below. people will not clear this. Usually only mid, high immortal, and radiant will clear this consistently. Even mid to high immortal might not even clear this. Sometimes radiants might not even clear this. So my point is that this is a very, very good spot to sit. Not always, only once or twice, because if you do it once and you kill like 3 of them, they're gonna start checking it. So yeah, what will happen is they'll walk up and then you can wait for a couple to pass and then you just start spraying at them, or you can even walk up behind them if you think all of them have walked past, and then you could shoot like all of them that have ran away into sight. So that's that. Now we're gonna talk about cat here. I'm gonna talk about how to play aggressive first because that is what I mostly do. I like to peek a lot, even if it's not always the best thing to do. So yeah, of course we have tiles here is what you can peek into on defense. So you can peek, or you can kind of walk across. The thing is, they can also peek very quickly as soon as the round starts with you. So there's often a lot of fights that take place between here and here. But what you could do is you can run across, and they might not be able to see you. And if they don't see you, then I like to sit up here. This is a really nice spot. You can also sit in this corner. They're kind of similar. I would play like an off angle here though, like kind of here. Off angle is instead of sitting in this corner, you play a little bit out so that whenever they're clearing, you have a bit of a jump on them, pretty much. So also you can sit up here, and this is really good. Just make sure you're not all over here, because then you can see mid. But also you can hold mid like this, so this is fine if you want to hold mid. But if you just want to hold cat, you sit like this, or right here. And yeah, so other than that, you can push here, but this is risky because you open yourself up to here, Sabrosa here, all of these. So yeah, also bottom mid, but pushing that isn't always preferable. But yeah, so now for a more defensive standpoint, people often like to sit like right here and hold this for the cat push, because this is a really good spot, because it allows you to both hold here and cat if you need to. Usually, sometimes people will split A, but a lot of the time they'll push one or the other, especially with more uncoordinated or lower ranked teams. So you can keep that in mind. And one of my favorite spots for holding cat is right here. This is a really nice spot, and people will clear this, especially if they dog or drone it, but this is a really nice spot. People don't usually expect you to be here, so they don't really check it. You can just try to stay tucked away like this, or you can play out a little bit, but up to you. Moving back a little bit farther, we have garden. So this is tree and this is garden. You can sit like this. You can watch here. You can watch here. Usually I kind of like to just watch like this. Also, of course, it depends if they're coming up here or from A main. So just be aware of where they're coming from. Usually you're going to have a teammate with you or wherever you're not playing. So if they're A main and they're telling you that they're coming at A main, you can hold like this. Especially if you have an op, this is a really nice angle to hold. And right here is good for whenever they're coming in through cat. Usually, again, just make sure you let like 1 or 2 of them pass, because if you shoot the first guy, then the second one's gonna already like know you're there. So it's better to make 2 of them pass. Also, this is a corner that people will expect some of the time, so be careful. You can also hold like this. This is a spot that this is a more open and obvious spot that you're sitting, but it's fine if you can hit the shots, you know. So also, this is glass. This glass is not broken at the start of every round, so it also makes a noise whenever you shoot it. Most of you probably already know this, but this is a good spot if you want to do like an outplay and a 1v1, but I'm not going to talk too much about that. I'm not going to talk too much about heaven or anything, because it's just kind of, you know. I'll talk maybe a bit about it on attack, but not right now. So now I'm going to move on over to... I'm going to go to B, and then we can go to mid. I think it'll make it a little bit easier. So again, I'm going to talk about how to play aggressive on B, and then I'm going to talk about how to play some of the more defensive spots. So aggressive, this is the exact same thing. It's like eerily similar to A main. It's like, it's not the same shape or anything, but I do the same thing. So I sit like this, and as soon as the round starts, you can walk over. You don't really want to step, because then they'll know. It's just obvious. But especially if you're playing Reina or Jet. Also Raze, because she has blast packs, but mainly just Reina or Jet. You can take duels like this, and you can just wait. And if you get a kill, if you're Reina, you just dismiss out, or if you get a kill as Jet, you know you're out like that. Even if you miss, you're out. But so yeah, this is probably not something you want to do on something like Killjoy or Cypher, because your team needs your utility on site, And same thing for over here at A. I should have mentioned that. You shouldn't do that usually if you're playing like a sentinel, but yeah. So anyway, you're gonna hold like this. I usually like to walk over like this. And if you don't think they're here, you can start walking up. You can also do this and then start walking up. You don't need to go over to the left, but this is again, I wouldn't play in this corner exactly. I would play out a little bit. This is called an off angle. Yeah. So also, this is a box. So this is a box. So this is a box here that you can get spammed through, but you should only shoot through it if you have reason to believe someone's there. So, um, but yeah, that's I thought I should mention that. But yeah, you can walk up here. Usually, be careful because Killjoy Turret likes to go up there sometimes. They can be right here in this corner. I actually sit in this corner sometimes because often people will push B like every round, and it's just a free kill if you sit there. So keep that in mind. I'll talk about it again maybe on attack. And here, now you have a good flank onto mid. But yeah, again, that's a very aggressive take for defending B. So this is only if you think it's necessary to do so. So more defensive playstyle would be I like to always start around here because I play duelist and I just like to listen for people running in. It'll be pretty obvious if it's a fast B push, so then from there you can just kind of run back and you can run back to site. Also, people like Sinatra like to sit right here. Sometimes he plays Sova on usually when he plays here, but a good thing you can do is kind of align yourself with this, and then whenever they're running out right here, you can wait until they're running up lane and then peek, shoot a couple of them. But if there's all 5 of them, some of them are probably going to run out and hit switch, so you got to be careful about that playstyle. But another good place to sit is right here. This is called stairs. Doesn't say stairs, but this is stairs. So you can fight like this if you want to. You can also spam through this, so if you see someone, you can shoot through this, and you can also be shot through, so be careful. Also, Silver Dart often goes here, so make sure to hit that whenever you hear it coming. If you want to play close, like maybe say it's an eco, this is a good spot that doesn't always get cleared. Logs is also a good spot that doesn't always get cleared. So you can do those two. Other than that, you can set CT, but CT is not as good because you don't have as much control of the site. Like, for example, if they start running out, there's not much you can do because if you start running to try to contest site, someone in B main can just kill you as you're trying to go from CT to here. So just usually I wouldn't suggest playing there unless you're opping or you have another reason to. But yeah, so the final spot I would suggest to learn is Backsight. This is a incredibly good spot to sit. This is very hard for attackers to deal with properly some of the time, or most of the time. You can fight like this, try to get a kill like this. You can also just hide. You can watch stairs from here. You can sit like right here and peek like this, wait for them to drop, wait for them to check this. Because usually think about whenever you check this, right? Whenever you check this, you might not be sure which way to look. Like sometimes you might clear left, sometimes you might clear right. Sometimes you might do like one of these, and then you gotta like readjust your aim depending on where the enemy is. But you can just swap it up. You can sit here, you sit way over here. I would suggest sitting here or here, because these seem like the 2 most optimal spots. But just use this backside to your advantage. It's really nice. And yeah. So I think that's about it for B site. There are some more intricacies to it. Also, we'll talk about this. This is kind of part of mid. This is market, but this spot is quite good as well. Usually this gets smoked and this door will get closed, but before they come out, this is really good because they'll just start running out into lane, and this is just like a perfect angle right here. If you just sit and wait, don't really need to expose yourself to B main, but if you just sit here and wait until they give you something to kill here, and even if they smoke it, you can push through if you have a flash especially. If you're not a duelist, you don't need to, so you can just hold this if you're not a duelist, and if you get smoked off, you just run back, wait for it or something. But yeah, so now we're gonna move on to mid. Mid, first of all, I'm gonna show you guys the aggressive play, or my aggressive plays that I like to do, that most people will do in higher ranks. So from off the start of the round, you can just hold tiles like this. You can kind of walk up. You just sit here and wait. This is one angle you can hold from here to here. Another you can hold is from here to up here, so they can peek from here. You can kind of walk up into bottom of mid, especially if like a Vandal, say, or maybe an op. Vandal's better, definitely, if you're gonna fight mid. I would suggest buying a Vandal on this map, because Phantom, you're gonna hit a lot of 140s in the head from here to here. Like both of these angles, you'll hit people in the head for 140, which is not gonna be fun. So yeah, Vandal, op, also Sheriff can be good for fighting in mid, but you might hit someone for 145, but that's fine. Tom Kench there. But yeah, so other than that, pushing mid isn't really very great unless you're on like an eco or, you know, like maybe say the whole team's pushing A or whole team's pushing B. You can push mid and flank, but I would suggest taking it slow because someone can be lurking. Just because it's a fast A or a fast B push doesn't mean someone can't be lurking. So anyways, moving back more a little bit mid, you can sit up here. This is not bad. That corner is not bad. The only problem is you'll get droned or a dart will often go right here. Playing Jet, you can just smoke it, but yeah. So moving back even more, we have Pizza. This spot is kind of a death trap if they start pushing mid, so I wouldn't suggest sitting here too much, especially because you'll get droned or you'll get some kind of utiled out. KO knife, Sky Dog, Sky Flash, you know, the list goes on. But you can sit here. It's a spot, but in my opinion, my favorite spot to hold mid is right here. This is market. Just like you can sit right here, but like again, this is like sort of an off angle. You can also again, this is I don't know what this is called, if this is even called anything, but there's actually an invisible ramp here, and this is really nice. So this is like one of my favorite spots to outplay people in because one, you're elevated, and two, people don't usually sit here. So whenever they walk in, people in higher ranks clear this corner, but lower ranks will not clear that corner at all. So use that to your advantage, please, because you'll get like 2 or 3 kills, even if your aim's not great. You can also sit there with a shotgun, but only sit there with a shotgun if they push mid consistently. If they only push mid once in a blue moon, then don't bother. But this spot right here is very nice for really any weapon other than like an op or, you know. But yeah, so also be careful because if they push there, they'll see you, but you can come back a little bit. So yeah, we already talked from market into B, so I'm not gonna talk about that. I suppose we could talk about retaking. We talk about retaking after this last part of mid here. So here we have the longest angle probably in the game or in the map. It's at actually 52 meters. This one is no, this is the longest angle actually. Okay, so this is one of the longest angles right here. But again, you're not gonna want to peek this with a Phantom, probably with a Vandal or Jet Knives or Op. But this is, I wouldn't suggest sitting here unless you're just rotating. One more thing is you can jump spot here, especially if you're playing Jet because you have this little glide ability. But say I'm not playing Jet and I just jump, you can still see mid pretty well, and it just gives you a pretty good idea of like, you know, oops, if they're pushing mid or not. So now I'm going to talk about retaking A and retaking B, and then that will be it. So retaking A, say you're playing B, and the enemy has full control of A, your team's lost it, say it's like a 3v4 or a 3v3, and you have to retake. You have 2 options, actually you have 3 options. You can go through Heaven, you can go through Tree, from either Cat or Garden into Tree into A site, or you can flank. This all depends how you play, what you want to do, and how the game's going, what the enemy's going to expect. So the most common way is definitely going to be coming from Heaven, and then probably closely behind that will be Tree. But Heaven is kind of I don't know. It's both easy and hard because sometimes you'll get given free kills. Sometimes people sit here. Sometimes people sit behind the box or close here. Just think about all the spots they could be. I'm just gonna ping all the spots that they could be whenever you're retaking, just on the site. Also, they can be wine or A main, but I'm not gonna ping that here. So I'll ping all the spots. Here. Hell. If I ping that, I think it's gonna go rafters. But these are all the spots. They can also be. People like to abuse this line right here because they can't really see you. I mean, you can't really see them. So then they'll just kind of peek out and shoot your head. So you can also, the good thing to do whenever you're retaking is maybe just like come out, shoot, maybe jump, pretend like you're dropping. Someone will peek probably because they think you dropped, or they think you're shooting one of their teammates, so they'll peek to try to intervene. But you're already ready for the person that's peeking because you already planned this, right? So yeah, it depends how many people are alive as well. If you're facing like 4 people, this is gonna be very hard, obviously. But if you're only against like 2 people, you just have to think where can they be? They can be anywhere. So you know, there's that. But I'm not gonna go through like every single scenario there. But into here, depending whether you come from garden or cat, it doesn't really matter either way. You're gonna have to probably break the door, which I'll just go ahead and do that because why not? But this will also, let me turn off infinite ammo just to show you guys more accurate. So you shoot it, reload, because you're probably gonna have to fight more than one person and you have less than half your ammo left. So can always be a main, can always be in this corner. You can also spam that, but yeah. And now we have the A flank. I didn't say much there because it's kind of like the same thing. All the same spots. They can be L, back here, here. So yeah, say you're flanking. Careful for like Cypher Trip, Killjoy, Alarm Bot. Here, you're looking at this is like the main thing they can be. They can also be like right here, here, or in the corner in one. You can clear it. You don't really always need to, especially if you're on a like extra time crunch from flanking. But here, usually you're gonna get a flank. I mean, you're usually gonna be behind someone. Usually people won't be expecting you to come here, unless it's like obvious for some reason. So if you do see someone or 2 people, you can easily kill them if they're looking at you. Unlucky, but it all depends on the specific round. Again, if it's a 1v3 and you haven't shown heaven or tree, someone's probably going to be watching the flank. If it's 3v4 or 3v3 or 4v3, your team's up. The enemy team is probably less likely to watch the flank because they're more concerned with people flooding out from heaven or a tree all at once. So they're focused more over here on heaven. So you have a better chance to get some kills there. But yeah, now I'm gonna go to B real quick. This video is getting longer than I had anticipated, but that's okay. Hopefully you guys do find this useful. So retaking from, say you play, this is the opposite. So say you're playing A or mid or cat or wherever else, and you need to retake B. The first thing is whenever the enemy team pushes out here, they can go one of 2 ways. They can come lane or they can come out straight this way. I can't ping anymore, it's kind of annoying, but they can come straight out here like this. And so what this means is they can be right here, they can be right here, they can be right here. So especially if the door is closed, which it almost always will be, I'll just close it because it's going to be a little bit more realistic. So what you need to do, they can also be V main, of course, because they don't necessarily have to run out. Only 1 or 2 people need to run out. Or I say like 2 or 3 people should run out to help get control of the site, and then 1 person can lurk, 1 person can sit and be main if they want to. If not, then it is what it is. But so first thing is, usually you're gonna want help from market, but if you're alone, this is what I would do. You need to be aware of B main at all times, but you can kind of walk out. You need to make sure this corner is clear. This corner is clear. That's usually gonna be done with like a drone or a dart or something, but if you need to clear it, you can clear it. Also clear there. So say you come from market, you break the market doors, you come out, this is clear. You can already see that, obviously. Clear that. And then make sure someone's not sitting right here. That's a pretty common spot in higher ranks, just sit there and just wait. But another thing you do is clear this corner, make sure they're not close in B main. And if they're not there, there's a good chance they're just not in B main. So from this point, you kind of gotta wait for your teammates to group. You can also be spammed through. You can shoot this box right here. Usually people don't sit too close right here, but you could spam that if you would like. So you can walk up lane. First thing you're gonna see is Backsight, or right here maybe. And then over here, it can also be here or close under. In that corner, which I said the spam earlier. So now retaking from here. Assuming all of this area is clear, you can walk out, make sure Backsight. Usually, generally, almost always, people are going to be playing in Backsight. Not always, but like a large majority of the time, at least one person on the enemy team will be playing Backsight, depending on how many of them are alive. So always clear everything, but then if the bomb's planted there, you haven't seen anyone, there's like one or two people alive, the chances of them being back here is very high, very high. So you're ready to take the fight there. Also, they could be lurking, could be coming around late mid or something, so you have to also be prepared for that. But and they can also go CT. But yeah, so that's about it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys want another map like this that isn't really agent specific and it's just kind of like a general map guide, and it goes a little bit more in depth, let me know. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to subscribe, leave a comment, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.